Alright guys, I've got Scott from Hyundai Motors here joining us in front of the Hyundai Kona EV. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Good to be here. Yeah, this is the Hyundai Kona. It actually went on sale last Friday, so the first cars got delivered to customers on Friday. Some of those guys have been waiting for cars for over a year or two, so very happy to get those cars on the road. It's got 150 kilowatts of power, 395 newton meters of torque. Yep. And we've got a 64 kilowatt hour battery, so this car's got a real world usable range of 449 kilometres.
That's pretty good for an Australian environment where there's a lot of space between cities and things, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this car leaves here tomorrow night, and I drive it from here directly to Canberra, so that's why I've got the charger going now. I've got it trickling in some charge now. But this is real world usable charge and usable range, so I'm very happy to have the car here. We look forward to having our competitors here, and we know Nissan's here as well today. Yep. We've got the Ioniq in the country as well, and Renault's in Australia. Yeah. We want more competition because competition drives innovation. Exactly. It also drives the infrastructure funding. So we're keen to get other competition here, but we've got cars here right now, and we're keen to get them rolling out into the public. Yeah,
fantastic. How many cars do you think you'll sell in Australia?
All depends. We've actually been quite surprised. We had a big push prior to the launch from governments, but the majority of buyers have been private, which is great, but we did expect a lot more from governments who kind of placed pre-orders or spoke about what they wanted to do, and so they're going a bit quiet, and we really hope that picks up now. There's a few more competitors. Maybe they're waiting for the Nissan to be here and run them all together and have a fleet of different types of vehicles, but yeah, private take-up's been pretty awesome, so very happy. Yeah,
fantastic. Can you give us a tour of the car?
Yeah, we'll head around.
All right, Scott, give us a tour.
Okay, so we're in the car now here, and it's really set up like you find another Hyundai, although we haven't got a gear shift, so everything's done by shift-by-wire on the dash here. If you put your foot on the brake, press the start button, just there, release. The car will run now, so we can see what's happening. I'll turn the stereo down because you need to see that. But all the technology that everyone want to have on the vehicle is all sitting here in the car. So if we go to home, we can see what we've been doing, how people have been driving, where the nearest stations are, list of the nearest stations. We can see the nearest one's actually 670 metres away. And we can actually go into there and tap on it, and we can get information. So we can find out exactly what that charging station is. It's a Type 2, which is going to suit this car. So everything you'd want, we can start the guidance to get there. Everything you'd want to be able to drive the car conveniently and find your stations, find the technology, how to get there, is all at one touch. Also looking at things like how you're driving, your previous fuel economy, and coming down here we had 11.8 kilowatt hours per 100. Apart from that, this car's been used for testing, so guys have been ripping into it quite hard. Yeah. 11's pretty good, I must say. 11's really good.
Really
that was me driving it down here, so I'll take the rep for that. Charging in climate, so we can set the climate control. So we get in the vehicle in the morning. It's it's 5 degrees out west. Yeah. The car can be defrosted. It can be heated up. Ready to go when you get in the vehicle.
And conversely, in summer when it's hot outside,
have the air conditioning going. Get in the car, have the air conditioning going. Charging limits, charging current, so we can set everything to make sure that you can set charging current to reduce the
how quickly you want to charge it.
Limit. So say if your boss is letting you charge up and you get home, you only want to put 10% into the car to get you back to work, then we can bring it all the way down.
That's handy.
I'll use 10% of my own energy, and when I get to work, I'll use all the boss's energy because it's free. So that's all one touch and pretty easy to find here. And
can you set when you want to charge it? Like off-peak electricity at night?
We can set here, and it actually get you to set when it happens in the top one here, charging time. So we can go through there and set what time we're going to start Sunday through the following Saturday. So
yeah, that's good. Very customizable.
So it's nice and easy to do. Schedule charging and target.
It's a very nice design inside, very sleek, I must say, and I like the dash, sort of the display up here as well.
Yeah, and a lot of this has been done, and my background's crash testing and safety as well, so a lot has been done with a focus of driver safety in mind. So having the navigation system where it's high up on the dash, you're not looking down or looking across, your eyes pretty much staying between the cluster and between the dash. You notice there's not a whole lot of room on the dash here, but underneath we've got a massive amount of room. There's chargers all underneath here. We can fit iPads and iPhones, everything underneath to charge up. They can be done in the top here, so we have got wireless Qi charging in the top, but we really encourage your phone to be out of sight. The last thing we want people doing is playing with their phone while they're driving and doing different things. The car's got Android Auto and CarPlay, so everything should be done with voice to text. So voice to text, voice to email, talk to the car, let Siri or Android's equivalent sort your problems out for you.
It's safer, isn't it, as well?
It's far safer, and it's about road safety, but also the technology in cars as well.
And there's a head-up display I can see.
Head-up displays on there, so
awesome.
It's probably hard to see from the
I can
camera
actually see it.
angle,
No, I can see it where I am. I don't know whether you can see it on camera, but you can see the speedometer and also the your nav as well, how far you're going to go, where you need to be.
and speed warning up there, so it tells you what speed you are in that local area, and it'll alert you. It'll start flashing, saying you're driving too fast for the area. So every bit of tech we can put in the cars here, as well as the zero emission drivetrain.
Yeah, very good. And I've noticed as well that the back seats it's pretty comfy, pretty reasonable at the back. I can see.
Yes, there's a fair bit of room there, and it's a small SUV, but it's still very practical and usable. And what people are talking about doing is putting a cage behind the front seat as well, and using the car like a little panel van. So using it like a little courier van or some kind of a commercial application by having it as a multi-purpose van. So very happy. Shall we have a look at the engine bay?
Yeah, let's do that. All right, Scott, the nuts and bolts, so to speak.
All right, nuts and bolts. So as we said, the car's got 150 kilowatts of power and 395 newton meters of torque, and it all really happens in the bay here. The battery itself sits between the front and the back wheels, so that's kind of the battery sits right between the area, and it's really between the chassis of the vehicle. And most of the components here are all in the engine bay. So we do have a 12-volt battery because we do run everything on 12 volts, the lights, the airbags, radios, everything that naturally run on 12 volts still there. But all we've got here is really an inverter and an electric motor. So under the top here, if I take it off, there's no internal combustion, no moving parts. In fact, this engine bay's got 4 moving parts from a couple of thousand in a conventional car. So run and repair costs, operating costs are all down. Yeah. And probably some of the things you'll notice here, let's have a look at the cooling there. So the little cooling block there, as we're charging the battery up, we can actually have the cooling system operating. So the air conditioner or the cooling system on the car will go through and cool down the battery as we're charging to get the most efficient charge in the quickest time possible. That's the technology needed in Australia, especially if we have really hot conditions. And it's also used for the cold conditions over in Europe. But we want to make sure that we're in Adelaide when it's 45 degrees, or in Western Sydney, and we plug into a 100 kilowatt station, and we're getting 100 kilowatts feeding into the vehicle. So
so the battery is liquid cooled as well?
Liquid cooled, yep, down underneath. So the 2 cooling pipes you'll see here will run down straight into the battery. I'm not sure if you can see that underneath there, but the battery is basically right there. The connection goes down, that high voltage orange cable goes into the battery, and the 2 cooling lines. And that's it. Some engine control management systems. But from a running repair cost, there's no moving parts under here really. Yeah. It's pretty minimal. So.
Let's talk about charging to start with. So CCS2 plug, I believe.
CCS2 plug, yep. So it's charging at the moment. Yeah. So we're doing an AC charge again. I'm driving this car out of here tomorrow night to Canberra. So.
Well, I noticed there were 450 odd kilometres left, so that'll get you to Canberra pretty easily.
I get to Canberra really easy. So it's very easy to do. So. We're running these, so this is what goes into customers' homes. So when you buy a Hyundai, you can get the accessory, which is a Delta charger. These we install, and our partners are Jet Charge. So doing our dealer installs and our customer installs, Jet Charger, our partner there.
Does that come with the car, or you got to buy it separately?
You can buy it as a separate accessory, because a lot of people who are buying the cars already have chargers from another brand they might have.
You can always plug it into the power socket, like any 10 amp socket.
There's a 10 amp emergency charger in the boot. We do recommend you keep the emergency charger in the boot. It's there for an emergency. It's like taking your spare tyre out and leaving it at home. You want it in the car when you really need it.
Very good point.
I've had these cars over in South Australia doing some testing, and I needed to go and find a 10 amp power plug because they had the wrong socket. They had a Type 1 socket where I needed to charge up, and I managed to find a 10 amp power plug at a car parking station and charge the vehicle overnight.
Well, that's the beauty of an electric car. Like, even if there's no quote-unquote charging station, just plug into a power point anywhere in the world.
People say, I can't drive across Australia, there's no charging stations. Yeah. There's a charging station everywhere. There's a 10 amp socket. So at a hotel, at a service station, at a restaurant, it doesn't matter where you are, you'll always find a 10 amp car spot. And in fact, there's some great apps online where you can go through and look at where the charging, not only the charging points and the charging stations are, people give you ideas of where there's free 10 amp or 3-phase charging stations. So we also carry a 3-phase charging point called a juice charger in our boot.
Oh, yes.
So that wherever I am, doesn't matter where I am in Australia, I can always get charged somewhere. I've never had a problem not being able to get charged.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, the rapid DC charging, I've read you can get up to 350 kilowatts for some of these quick chargers.
Yeah, so we can do 100 kilowatts at the moment. Okay. We are moving to 350 kilowatts in the future, and that's all I'll say that area.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
At the moment, we're taking in 100 kilowatts. Most stations I'm using in Australia are the Tritium 50 kilowatt stations. Yep. So they do an awesome job, and they're about a 55-minute charge to get up to where we need to be. But again, people aren't driving electric cars to dead empty then thinking about charging. It's like your mobile phone. You're always charging your mobile phone as you're on the go.
Exactly.
You charge at the car, at home, at the office. Electric cars are the same thing. I never let it run down before I charge it. I'm always topping up, either at work, at home. Yep. When I'm out in public, charges at Macca's now. Not that I indulge in the food at Macca's too often, but there's charging stations going everywhere, and we'll start to see them at the Woolworths and the service stations will start having them in the future. So, we'll start to see the charging stations in everywhere you go and do your normal day business, whether it be the theatre, the shops.
It's far more versatile than petrol, I would think, in terms of charging.
Everything's a charging station in the future. It's not just one of the big brands trying to sell you a liquid fuel. It's this fuel's everywhere.
Correct. Now, finally, let's touch on price. So that's, I'm sure, what our viewers are interested in. So, how much does it start at?
Yeah, so we start just under $60,000. So we've got a launch edition that's on the market now, and then we've got the Elite, which is just under $60K, and then we've got the Highlander, or the Premium, which is just over $60K. So, and then you've got on-road costs, and that varies between different states in Australia. But what I recommend is people go onto the Hyundai website, hyundai.com.au, or go into Hyundai Blue Drive. And there's a calculator on there that'll tell you how much you're paying in the state you live, if there's any incentives. So some states give you stamp duty concessions, or they give you registration concessions. That all helps. Go onto the calculator, look at where you live. I know people in New South Wales who live near the border down in ACT will often buy a car.
Stamp duty concessions?
Concessions down there. Yeah. So, but things are going to change. We've seen the announcement from the Labor Party yesterday, the Greens announcement last week. The current Liberal Party, if they get back in, got some announcements to be made next year. Yep. The transition started. The Nissan's here as well. We're here. The Renault's here. We'll see the Volkswagen and Mitsubishi EVs here in the coming years. Yep. We welcome competition.
Absolutely. The wave is coming. Just get on board.
Yep, it drives innovation and growth. But our car's here now. This is coming. Get on board. Grab hold of these cars, whether you're business fleets, the government fleets, or private customers. Let's start to really justify the cars being here. It costs a lot of money to make a car in right-hand drive for a very small market. Yep. And we've still got Australian certification to meet here, so we need to have the car specially made for Australia. That'll take money and time, but the car's here now. Let's get on board and start to look at the possibility of starting to transition our fleets.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott, for your time. Really appreciate your time.
Have a great day. Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
You too.
Thanks.
I do solemnly promise, should I win a Roadster 2020 in Tesla's new referral program, to list this vehicle on an electric car sharing platform to allow all Australians an opportunity to drive this magnificent car as part of a greater effort to bring the electric vehicle to this great nation. Hashtag Roadster Down Under. Help me by using my referral code Thomas7208. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being part of the energy revolution. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. Happy charging!